Hey everyone, we are doing another foundation routine today. To get started, we are going to get our face primer. Just gonna put a little bit goes a long way. You want to mostly focus this on areas where you have large pores or a lot of like creasing under the under eyes and the forehead, and then just use whatever excess you have on the rest of your face. And then I'm gonna hit that with some setting spray. So I'm gonna set my makeup before I do it and then after I do it so that it is set from both ends. We're gonna help our setting spray along. Okay, and then we're gonna start putting on our foundation. Now I'm just gonna start with a little bit and then we'll come back with some more and bump up the coverage. I'm gonna get just a little bit more. And this kabuki brush is fantastic for spreading it all around and blending it. Highly recommend this brush. And of course we want to bring it down below our chin, down to our neck so everything is blended and uniform. And you can bring it onto your eyelids as well for the same reason. And then I like to get like right here on my nose, get a little bit of redness. And then I just kind of stipple it in just to like compress everything. Or you could do the same thing with a wet beauty bud. Just kind of compress it all in, make sure it's all blended. And I especially like to focus it around the area where I have large pores. Next, I'm going to get my concealer in the shade Organza, just a little bit on the tip of my finger. And I'm going to just kind of massage it between our fingers to warm it up. And then I'm going to rub that under my under eye. This is going to conceal dark circles, going to brighten up the under eye, and help fill in any cracks and lines which we tend to get under our eyes, crow's feet and everything. And then again, I'm going to use the smaller beauty bud. And we're going to compress that all in. Next, I am going to get this flat-sided beauty bud, and I am going to get the shade Scarlet. This is just a powder foundation. And I'm going to kind of use that in sort of the baking technique, except I'm not using as much as you would with baking. Kind of more so because I have dry skin. Could use more if you have oily skin. But I also feel like I just don't need that much. But that's just a little bit is enough for me. Okay. And again, you can come back in with the beauty bud and just kind of compress the powder foundation into the concealer. All right, next I am going to contour with my tapered blush brush. This one is in the shade Brocade, I think is how it's pronounced. It is super dark, way too dark for me. It's actually the darkest of the powder foundation. So what I do, I got it just to try it out, but now that I have it, I'm gonna use it. So I just get like, honestly, just rub a tiny bit off of the top, like compress it in. I actually just do that in the lid. And like, just get the smallest amount. You start with a little bit and then we can always add more. But I'm just gonna, right there, see, and I barely like got any in it already. You can already see it, so I'm just gonna kind of share between the two sides. If you get just the smallest amount, you know, it can be subtle. But if you get too much of this darkest shade, if your complexion is close to mine, of course, if it's darker, you could get away with it for sure. But you don't want it to look muddy or anything like that. So just start with a little, and then you can always add more. Try to blend it out. Okay, and then I'm gonna also just get a little bit doing that same thing. And then we're gonna just kind of do up here around the forehead. And while I'm at it, I'm just gonna come along the jaw. I'm gonna pinch it together so it's nice and narrow. And I'm gonna go along the side of my nose, and along the tip, and then under my lip. And this just gives us like that pouty lip once our lipstick is done. Okay, and then blend this out too. Next, what I'm going to do is get my powder foundation. This is in the shade Poplin, and I am just gonna go around the edges of that contour and then all over the rest of my face, but just to kind of clean it up. I don't want to cover it up, so I'm just going above and below, and then hitting the rest of my face. And same thing on the forehead, just kind of more in the middle, so I'm not covering up my contour. But it's just to kind of clean up the lines. All right, now we are going to do blush. This is in the shade Seductive. Just a nice nude, everyday kind of color. I'm just going to bounce that along her cheeks, focusing mostly on the apple of the cheek and then sweeping it up. And then to finish off, we've got this highlight. This one is in the shade Lustrous. And then I have this contour brush. I am going to use this side to swipe some off. And then we are just going to highlight above where that blush is. And then down the center of the nose. On the tip, and we're going to do on the cupid's bow. And if you want, just a little bit here in the middle. And then last but not least, we are going to do all of that with some setting spray. That way it will last all day. Alright, thanks you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.